Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Sri Shailaabhijanamburashishinam Sri Krishna Tatatmajam Sri Shailanvaya Devanath Sudhya Praptagaman Tadvayam Padabje Narsimhatate Guru Nyastatma Raksha Bharam Vidvat Vranda Chakora Chandiramaham Ramanujaryam Traye Sriranga Sudha Madhu Samaswadayantam Sriranga Mahishi Padapankajatmajam Sulabhashrayam Sadamoda Siddhamadbhutam भजेऽहं गुरुं तं रङ्गनाथप्रियं सुखासनस्थं हृदयाब्जपीठे चिन्मुद्रयालङ्कृतपाणिपद्मं शुभोपवीतं विमलोर्ध्वपुण्ड्रं नमामि रङ्गं गुरुं अन्तरङ्गे नमामि योगसम्राज्ञीं विजयां विजयप्रदां श्रीरङ्गार्धासनासीनां करुणां मम मातरं गुरुरूपपरञ्ज्योतिः ज्योतिरूपगुरुः परः अज्ञानमन्दिरं ह्येतत् कुरु विज्ञानमन्दिरं मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम् यो अन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं जयत्याश्रितसन्त्रास ध्वान्तविध्वंसनोदयः प्रभावान् सीतया देव्या परमव्योमभास्करः सकृदेव प्रपन्नाय तवास्मीति च याचते अभयं सर्वभूतेभ्यः ददाम्येतद्व्रतं मम मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि वेदवेद्ये परे पुंसि जाते दशरथात्मजे वेदः प्राचेतसादासीत् साक्षाद् रामायणात्मना. With salutations to our Guru and the Guru of all Gurus, will commence our session today. I think this is the first session in the Uttarayanam this year, if I am not wrong. And what a festive mood in the Bharata Varsham. And those who have Bharata Varsham and the Prabhus of Bharata Kandam in their hearts. It doesn't matter whether you are geographically there or elsewhere. All our moods are tuned towards the Prana Pratishthai at the Sri Kshetram, which is Ayodhya Puri. It is indeed a great fortune that we are all living to see this. This is something that many generations have waited, perhaps. So I believe at least 5 to 6 of the great people that I had the great opportunity to be in touch with. It is so unfortunate they are not there in their physical form or bodies today, but I'm pretty sure they will be rejoicing and witnessing this from wherever they are. And fortunate are those who are there in the Kshetram and witnessing the grand Prana Pratishthai. Of course, the Lord doesn't need a temple to celebrate him in a physical form. The best form of temple is our hearts. That is where the journey should start. But the presence of a physical temple, it brings together all members of the society. It brings a samatva bhav. It also reminds our gross focused minds, isn't it? Many times our minds are not so subtle and engaged in conversation with lokas that we cannot see, feel, touch. We are ever engrossed in the phenomenal world or the physical world. Therefore, we need the best sort of replicas of divinity that we can cling on to. And that is why we really need temples. And temples which are built in places of really historical significance temples where the Lord himself descended on earth are extremely pious places for us to visit. Temples where there is a Pavitra Nadi that flows through, like Sarayu, is even more powerful and pious. And a temple which is in the heartland, very close to the Himalayas, is equally very, very pious and important for all of us. And we are all eagerly looking forward to the consecration ceremony. So be that as it may, we'll continue our discussion. We were in the Trayastrimshaha Sargaha, 33rd Sargam, Hanumat Janaki Samvada Upakramaha, where our dear Lord Hanuman, he has started the conversation with Sita Mata in such a manner that he builds the trust with her. In the previous Sargam, we have seen Hanuman summarizes Ramayanam. He doesn't yet disclose who he is. And in this Sargam, he starts to come closer to her. Okay, the idea is he is perched on top of the Shimshupa Vriksham. There needs to be an opportunity for him to jump down and then appear in front of her physically and start the conversation. So in that direction, it is important that he asks her certain questions that build trust. She should not think this is Ravana again. And therefore, we see shlokas like Suranam, Asuranam va, Nagagandharva Rakshasam, Yakshanam, Kinnaranam va, Katvam Bhavasi Shobhane, Katvam Bhavasi Rudranam, Marutam va Varanane, Vasunam va Vararohe, Devata Pratibhasame, 33rd Sargam, 5th and 6th slokas, right? So Hanuman is asking, who are you? Are you a god? Are you, in fact, an asura? Are you somebody who belongs to Naga, Gandharva, etc.? So these are kind of icebreakers. At the same time, giving an indication that Sita Mata should think that this person does not belong to Lanka, right? He really doesn't know me. Somebody here would definitely have known who I am. That is the trust he infuses. I believe we were in Katvam Bhavasi Kalyani, Kopatva Vasishtam, Kopitvatam Nasi, Kalyani, Konuputra, Pita Bhrata, Lokungatam Kamashnute. Yes, I think we were in shloka number 9, isn't it? 9 or 10?
Yes, 9.
9, okay. Asman lokad amum lokam gatam tvam anushochasi. Are you thinking of people who have left this lokam and therefore you are in extreme sorrow and you are crying? That is what he is asking. Rodanad Atinishwasate Bhumi Samsparshanaadapi Natvam Devi Mahammanye Ragnyas Sanyavadharanate Vyanjanani Chate Yani Lakshanani Chalakshaye Mahishi Bhumi Palasya Rajakanyasi Me Mata. By looking at the way that you are weeping, you are sighing, it appears that you have signs of being a Rajamata or a queen, signs of sovereignty. Natvam Devi Mahammanye Rajnyas Sarvajna Avadharanat. I do not think you are a goddess, okay, in the sense that you do not belong to the Bhulokam. You are not somebody who is in Devalokam. You are somebody who is in the Bhulokam right now. I do not think you are a goddess from that perspective. Okay. At the same time, I am also seeing some signs, Vyanjanani, Lakshanani. There are a lot of qualities I see in you, both physical as well as otherwise behavioral, which certainly indicate to me Bhumi Palasya Mahishi Rajakanya cha me. You definitely seem to be the consort of a king or the daughter of a king. Okay. So that is what I believe you are. Ravanena janasthanate बलादपहृता यदि सीता त्वमसि भद्रं ते तन्ममा चक्षुपृच्छतः. Or are you that very same Sita who had been abducted by Ravana from Janasthana? அப்படின்னு நைஸா இப்போ ஒரு 10 சென்டென்ஸ் சொல்லிட்டு யூ சீம் டு பி சீதா அப்படின்னு ஒரு டவுட் விடுறாருங்க. Was forcefully taken away by Ravana, அப்போ தலையாட்டின்னு பாவம் சீதா மாதா. Yes, yes, I am that. So that's the kind of confidence booster along with trust, creating that trust that Hanumanji is doing here. Okay. Yatha hitava vaidainyam rupam chapyatimanusham tapasa chanvito veshaha tvam rama mahishi dhruvam. Tava dainyam atimanusham rupam cha tapasa anvitaha veshaha yatha tvam dhruvam rama mahishi. You have some kind of a mesmerizing form. Okay. Atimanusham. It seems to be superhuman to look at. And you also seem to be endowed with austerity, tapas. And therefore, Dhruvam, you are none other than Rama Mahishi, the dear wife of Lord Ramachandra. Sa tasya vachanam shrutva Ramakirtana harshita uvacha vakyam vaidehi hanumantam drumashritam prithivyam rajasimhanam mukhyasya viditatmanah snusha dasaratashyaham shatrusainya pramathinah. This sargam is also very important, where Sita Mata herself summarizes Ramayanam up to that point. In the previous chapter, it was Hanuman summarizing Ramayanam. So each chapter has its own significance. And the thing that Hanuman is trying to do here is perhaps he himself would like to hear Srimad Ramayanam from Sita Mata's mouth. Okay, right from the horse's mouth, as they say. So, Satasya Vachanam Shutva Rama Kirtana Harshita. Sita Mata became extremely overjoyed after all those 12 sentences. The 12th sentence is what she liked the most. Okay, Rama Kirtana Harshita. Uvacha Vakyam, she spoke in this manner to Hanuman, who is Drumashritam. He is perched on top of the tree. So she starts the Srimad Ramayanam from this second half of 15th slokam. Prithivyam Rajasimhanam Mukhyasya Viditatmanaha. Right, on this earth, whoever has been a king, among all those kings, the greatest among them, the Mukhyasya and Viditatmanaha. Just like Janaka Maharaja, who is a Jnani, Dasharatha also was a Jnani, Viditatmanaha. I am the daughter-in-law of Dasharatha and Solra. This is a beautiful thing here. She's not saying I am Rama's wife. She starts by saying I am Dasharatha's daughter-in-law. She doesn't even bring her mother-in-laws here. She starts with Dasharatha. Perhaps there was a bonding, a great bonding. We have seen this in perhaps one of the previous sargams also. That bonding between the father-in-law and the daughter-in-law. Okay, in fact, we will talk about that later. That seems to have taken a special place. So she starts with that. Shatru Sainya Pramathinaha. Dasharatha is somebody who would kill any kinds of Shatru Sainyas. Duhita Janakasyaham Vaidehasya Mahatmanah सीता च नाम नाम्नाहं भार्या रामस्य धीमतः समाद्वादशतत्राहं राघवस्य निवेशने भुञ्जाना मानुषान् भोगान् सर्वकाम samriddhini. I am also the daughter of Janaka, Duhita. The word daughter comes from Duhita. Okay, it sounds very similar, rhyming, isn't it? And one has to look at the roots of some of these words. It goes back to Sanskrit. And Videha Raja is Janaka, isn't it? Vaidehi. We already seen the meaning of Videham is somebody who has gone beyond body consciousness. Videham is Videha. Videha Raja, that is Janaka, and I am Vaidehi. And my name is Sita. I am the wife of Lord Rama. She is showing her Aadhaar card now. Ramasya Dhimataha. Sama Dwadasha Tatraham Raghavasya Niveshna. I was very happy in their household for 12 long years. Okay, this is a bit of history that she has spent 12 long years before they go into Vanavasam. Bhunjana Manushan Bhogan Sarvakama Samarthini. Interesting reference here that I was enjoying all worldly pleasures, like what normal human beings would do. Manushan Bhogan, right? So this is the beauty of Sanatana Dharmam, that we do not negate things, we accept things as long as it falls into the framework of Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. Kama is also welcome. And she, in fact, Sita Mata says, I enjoyed it to the hilt. அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி தான் இங்க சொல்றா. तत्रस्त्रयोदशे वर्षे राज्ये चेक्ष्वाकुनन्दनम् अभिषेचयितुं राजा सोपाध्यायः प्रचक्रमे. तस्मिन् सम्भ्रियमाणे तु राघवस्याभिषेचने कैकेयी नाम भर्तारम् idam vachanamabravite. In the 13th year of our living together in Ayodhya, this Ikshvakunandana was supposed to be anointed as the king Maharaja by Lord Dasharatha. That's a very interesting thing. If you go back to the Ayodhya Kandam, you will see many times we think that this is like Sarvadhikaram, isn't it? Dictatorship. I am born as a son to a king, therefore I am entitled to be the prince and the next king. But Dasharatha, before he thinks of Abhishekam for Lord Ramachandra, he goes around and inquires people. He asks all the Purajanas of Ayodhya. He asks all the chieftains of Ayodhya. He asks all his ministers. And he says, I am now quite old, right? I don't think I am able anymore by body as well as mind. And therefore, as a king, I may not be able to discharge all the dharmic duties. The king is supposed to be the replica of Mahavishnu, isn't it? That's what Dharma Shastras say. You have to revere the king just like you are revering Lord Mahavishnu, which means it is a responsibility of the king to also to ascend to that status. And if you feel that you cannot do the Rakshanatvam, Lord Mahavishnu is responsible for preservation. Therefore, the king also is responsible for preserving, isn't it? Whatever, and acquiring more wealth, expanding his horizons, etc. And if even an inch of my strength is in doubt, then I should not continue that padavi. So there was no hankering after the kursi. Kissa kursi ka nahi tha. Kissa dil ki baat tha. There people would worry about what others will think about me. But in the kayavam poi nammala rule pandrane. இது எப்போ கழண்டு போகிறது அப்படின்னு யோசிக்கக்கூடாது. But he felt that it was right time that he should think of Lord Rama, and he got the opinion of others, and they all, they were, some of them tell Dasharatha that all our lips were zipped. We didn't want to tell this to you earlier. அப்படின்னு ஒரு சங்கோச்சத்தோட சொல்றவள்ளாமும் இருந்திருக்கா. That, we are very happy that you have asked this question. We were also going to tell you, why not make Ramachandra as the king and do the Abhishekam. Okay, such was the pure love that people had for Lord Ramachandra, not because he was Dasharatha's son, but because he had such a great attractive power, right? Although he was Rama, he was actually Krishna. Krishno Mama Karshakaha. That Akarshana Shakti, if and only if we were to really see an avatar Purusha in front of us, all our doubts will disappear. That form itself will be so attractive that we will fall at his feet. That is the pure love that comes from the Jiva to the Paramatman. Okay. ஆத்மாவுக்கு ராஜாவாக இருக்கக்கூடியவன் தானே வெளியிலையும் ராஜாவாக இருக்க முடியும். One who is the Antaryami, who I know is residing in my hearts, and whose radiance is so effulgent that I see its reflection outside in this person called Rama. Do I need any further authority or any further acceptance? So such was the correlation. So Dasharatha became so happy that, wow, my intuition is matched with people's affection and love towards Rama. And therefore he starts all the preparation for the Abhishekam. But Tasmin Sambhriyamane tu Raghavasya Abhishechane, we all know this particular lady called Kuni or Manthara, right? She spoiled the show and she induces that aspect of jealousy, right, in Kaikeyi. Kaikeyi also was initially of the opinion of celebrating the Pattabhishekam of Ramachandra, but her heart and mind is spoiled.
First opinion poll was conducted by Dasaratha.
First opinion, yes. Here the statistics is 100 out of 100. So, yeah, and people, you're right. So it's a kind of combination of democracy and dictatorship. Very interesting combination, where the system, Sanatana Dharmam, is not about, not giving people the rights to elect their leader, but the leaders are natural leaders. There was no other option. It got diluted over a period of time, as it normally gets. That's why Parasurama kills so many of the kings, isn't it? Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. The dharma has to be re-established, and no better way than looking at a king. Good to see you, Muthu, after so long a time. So Kaikeyi, her mind got poisoned with Rajas and Tamas, thanks to Manthara. And she started to do a lot of drama. We all know about that, isn't it? Na pibeyam na khadeyam pratyaham mama bhojanam yeshame jivitasyanto ramo yadyabhishityate yattaduktam tvaya vakyam pritya nripati sattama tachenna vitatham karyam vanam gacchatu raghavaha. I am going to go on not even intermittent fasting. I will not eat anything. Na pibeyam, na khadeyam, until, oh Dasharatha, you expel Rama, you stop this Abhishekam. That is the first thing she says. Yeshame jivitasya anto Ramo yadhyabhishichyate. If Rama gets anointed as the king, think that that's the end of my life. That is a kind of hatred. It is so interesting to see how individuals transform. All of us go through this. We all need some kind of trigger. Prakriti is full of Sattvam, Rajas and Tamas. Very rarely the pendulum goes towards the Sattvic dimensions, right? And the Rajas and Tamas are so powerful. As it is within our body, they are waiting to start their harmonic motion. And if you have external factors that contribute to it, it's like adding fuel to fire. And overnight, she transforms from somebody who wanted to celebrate Abhishekam of Ramachandra to somebody who despises Rama and doesn't want this Abhishekam to go forth. ஒரு மிருதுவான ஹார்ட்லேருந்து கடோரமான ஹார்ட்டுக்கு இது எப்படி போச்சு அப்படின்னு நம்மளாம் யோசிச்சோம்னாக்கா we are in the right path. பட் இதெல்லாம் அப்பப்போ தான் யோசிப்போம். என்ன கைகேயி is our best friend, isn't it? On Instagram, we follow her. So we should think of the aspects here. How a person could be influenced. Look at this is Sita Mata's words talking about Kaikeyi. Meaning she is summarizing all that. See, interestingly, Sita is also narrating only things which are relevant here. She is not talking about, for example, Lord Rama he went along with Vishwamitra. Adallan solla. The only things that are required for Hanuman to listen to and contextual she is saying. Jivitasyanto Ramo ettaduktam toya vakyam Pritya Nipati Sattama. O King Dasharatha, you had told me something out of your pure love to me, isn't it? We both were great lovers at one point, and in your weak moment, you had given me a boon, and I am now asking that boon. Tachenna vitatham karyam vanam gacchatu Raghavaha. Banish Lord Ramachandra to the forests. That is what she is requesting here. Saraja Satyavagdevya वरदानमनुस्मरन्ने मुमोह वचनं श्रुत्वा कैकेय्याः क्रूरमप्रियं ततस्तु स्थविरो राजा सत्ये धर्मे व्यवस्थितः ज्येष्ठं यशस्विनं पुत्रं रुदन् राज्यमयाचत. नारायण. स राजा सत्यवाक् Devya Varadanam Anusmaran. So he had given this boon to his wife Devi Kaikeyi. And as a king who follows dharma, the first thing you are supposed to follow is Satyam. You should be truthful to whatever you have promised. In fact, a king will be truthful to whatever he has not promised also. And in this case, he has already promised something to Kaikeyi. That Varadanam he remembered, and he went into a state of commotion, absolute commotion. And he listened to Kaikeyi's Kruramana Vachanam. Apriyam, Kruram, very cruel, and something which you do not want to listen to. And what did the Raja do? Tatastu Sthaviro Raja. Satye Dharme Yavasita. He is somebody, Dasharatha is somebody who is well seated in Satya and Dharma. So he has to protect it. And therefore, what did he do? Jeshtham Yashasvinam Putran Rudan Rajyamayachita. He did not ask Raghava to go to forest. He cries and says, can you please give back the Rajyam to me? The thing is, the moment you sign the appointment order, you are going to be the king, you have lost the authority. Right? So Dasharatha has lost the authority the moment he has appointed Ramachandra. So look at how even there he is following dharma. Right? That he is not saying, I withdraw you, but he is saying, can you please give me back my kingdom? And in what manner he is asking? Rudan. He started to weep and cry. Isn't it? Sa piturvachanam Shriman Abhishekat Param Priyam Manasa Purvamasadya Vacha Pratigrihitavan Dadyanna Pratigrinhiyat Nabruyat Kinchidapriyam Api Jivita Hetorva Rama Satya Parakramaha. But Saha Piturvachanam Shriman Abhishekat Param Priyam. Lord Rama thought about, actually I should say, he didn't even bat an eyelid. The moment Dasharatha sought his kingdom, he didn't think that his Abhishekam is something, imagine, he is somebody who is a a king, a prince who is about to become a king. So his mind will all be full of joy, isn't it? He's a young chap, young person. And for such a person to listen to his father's words, not bat an eyelid, and think that his father's words are param priyam compared to Abhishekam. And Manasa Purvam Asadya Vacha Pratigrihitavan. He immediately returned it. Appa எடுத்துக்கோங்க அப்படின்னு கொடுத்துட்டார். So basically, this is the greatest trait of Brahmavid, that you are not attached to anything. Interestingly, Dasharatha, after Rama gives him back the kingdom, Dasharatha once again pleads to Rama, please don't go away. Avarlend Aramchi, we all know those episodes, isn't it? People, the whole Ayodhya Puri, they don't want Rama to, including, it starts with Dasharatha. He says, because of my moham, I have said all this, please come back. But Lord Rama doesn't listen to those words. Although they are from the same father, he doesn't listen to the latter words spoken by Dasharatha. Why?
Because he has given his word that he will follow his orders.
But he can follow the words later also, isn't it? Dasharatha is asking him, don't go. He's not listening to those words.
அது வந்து it is going to defeat the boon given to Kaikeyi, right? If we go back from that. அப்பாவோட வாக்கியத்தை காப்பாற்ற முடியாத ஒரு நிலைமைக்கு father will be pushed. He is compelled to.
அவர் அந்த அளவுக்கு செகண்ட் லெவல்ல யோசிக்கல ஆக்சுவலி. அது நீ பட்டபாடு, யூ ஹவ் கிவன், தட் இஸ் யுவர் ப்ராப்ளம், isn't it? So you are close. The one step behind that thing is, I know my father is somebody who follows Satya and Dharma. And he has to follow Satya and Dharma. I should not make him deviate from Satyam and Dharma. Whereas these later words, when he says that, please don't go, is not coming from Satyam and Dharma. It is coming from moham to his son. Right? அண்ணே பால் சாப்பிடு, சாதம் சாப்பிடு அப்படின்னு பிரீத்தியா சொல்றோம் இல்லையா, அந்த மாதிரி. So he's talking to Rama from a attachment perspective. You are my son, don't go away. That is not in sync with the Dharma Vachanam, which is Dasharatha has given Pratignya, and he says that Ada Anusmarichidan, he is asking Rama for the thing. So therefore, one of the greatest qualities of Lord Ramachandra is Satya Parakramaha, one who is truthful, and his strength is also that of Satyam and Dharmam. Dadyat na pratigrinhiyat jivita hetorva kinchit apriyam na bruyat. He stands for truthfulness, and he gave whatever others sought. Okay, Dadyat na pratigrinhiyat. He would not accept anything in return. And na bruyat apriyam. He will never speak anything that is a harsh word. That is the nature of Lord Ramachandra. Savihayotariyani maharhani mahayashaha visrijya manasa rajyam jananyai mam samadishate saham tasya gradasturnam prasthita vanacharini nahime te nahinaya vasasvarge pirochate. உடனே அது சொல்ல உடனே what happened immediately? The moment he handed over the pattam, எல்லாத்தையும் கட்டிட்டார். He removed all his whatever accessories, dress that he was wearing as a prince. எல்லாத்தையும் ஒரு செகண்ட் கூட யோசிக்கல. Right? That kind of non-attachment is very, very rare for think of a Kshatriya to have that feeling. And Maharhani, Mahayashaha, all of that he visrijya, he just left it aside. Manasa Rajyam, Jananyai mam samadishat. See, he didn't want me to accompany him. Abdin Sita Mata is saying. He says, please take care of my mother. Okay. My father wants me to go to the forest. I am ready to go, but you please take care of my mother. That is your duty. Abdin. He is requesting Sita Mata. But what did she do? Saham Tasya agrataha turnam prasthita vanacharini. I didn't even wait for a second. Very quickly, I went ahead of him. And I was ready to go along with him. For nahime tena hinaya vasa swargepi rochate. I cannot live without my dear heart, dear husband. And that's something I cannot do. Okay. So she can think that she is trying to shy away from her responsibilities of taking care of her mother-in-law. Yeah. But she is definitely somebody whose complete heart and soul is with Lord Ramachandra. That is one. Secondly, it would have been the easiest margam for her to be remaining in the palace, isn't it? Right? I can enjoy all the pleasures, right? Let him go, come back after 14 years. I can be very, very happy. அப்படிங்கிற easier path choose பண்ணல. She chose the tougher path. It may seem that she is attached to her husband, but please think of this. Without batting an eyelid, she is also trying to accompany him. வனவாசம் அப்படிங்கிறது எவ்வளோ கஷ்டங்கிறது அடுத்த லைனில் சொல்ல போகிறா. So she is somebody who cannot live without Ramachandra even for a moment. So in some sense, she violated his request, but Lord Rama agrees to it. He says, okay. In fact, Dasharatha also argues with Kaikeyi, let Sita not go to forest, let her be here. But one thing is, during this thing, Lakshmana, what happens? Prageva tu mahabhagah saumitrir mitranandanaha purvajasyanu yatrarthe drumachirairalankritaha. So even before Rama could leave, somebody who left ahead of him is Lakshmana. Saumitrihi Mitranandanaha. He is somebody who pleases all his friends, isn't it? And he went ahead of his brother Purvajasya Anuyatrarthe. Our Engalam Pararo Pai Surtinde Kalambara Perumal Dane, or a Pai Adiseshan. That is nothing but Lakshmana. And for the Anuyatra, Drumachireir Alankritaha, he wore, Lakshmana also removed all his princely robes, and he also donned the, dress made of barks of trees. Drumachireihi Alankritaha. So therefore, and of course, Dasharatha apparently instructs that let Sita carry all her jewels, accessories, saris, etc. And that is what Lakshmana carries. Okay, that's an interesting thing. Although these two gentlemen, Rama and Lakshmana, they wear dresses made of barks and other things. Dasharatha had such a love. That's why he says, Snusha Dasharathashyaham. He instructs that let Lakshmana carry. She should not suffer in the forest. Let her at least wear all of this. Anupuran or idla varudhu. Te vayam bharturadesham bahumanya dridhavrataha pravishtasma pura drishtam vanam gambhira darshanam vasato dandakaranye tasyaham amita tejasaha amita ojasaha Rakshasa apahrita bharya ravanena duratmana. So we all listen to the speech of, the request of Bhartuhu. Bharta is here Dasharatha, Rajyasya Bharta. Okay. And we listen to him Dridhavrataha with Sankalpam, that is very, very strong. And we all enter the Vanam, Puradishtam, Vanam Gambhira Darshanam. Right? The forest is very, very imposing. We did not know what is ahead of us. it was in fact an adventurous thing for us. And where did we live? Vasataha Dandakaranye. We were going from one forest to the other. And along with the Amita Ojasa Purushaha, Lord Ramachandra. But I was abducted. Rakshasa Apahirta Bharya Ravanena Duratmana. So the here is where she is telling Hanuman that I was abducted by, I was indeed the one, you had asked this question, right? Am I the one who was abducted by Ravana? The answer is yes. Dvau masau tena me kalo jivitanugrah kritah urdvam dvabhyam tu masabhyam tatastakshami jivitam. Remember that I have been given an ultimatum of 2 months by Ramachandra, and beyond that I probably will not be alive. I will leave my body. That is what Sita Mata is concluding this conversation. Vityarshe Srimad Ramayana Valmiki Adikavye Chaturvimshadasikaayam Samhidayam Sundara Kande Hanumat Janaki Samvado Nama Traistrimshas Sargaha. Just tell the first slokam because it is ending with Dvabhyam Masabhyam Tadastakshami Jivitam. Chatustrimshas Sarga is Ravana Shanka Nivaranam. This new sargam is about how Sita gets even more trust in Hanuman and doesn't entertain the feeling that this is Ravana in a different form. Tasyastadvachanam shrutva Hanuman hariyuthapaha dukha vibhutayaha swantvamuttaram abravit aham ramasya sandeshat devi dutastavagatah vaidehi kushali ramah tvam cha kaushalam abravit. Listening to Sita Mata's words, and she was somebody who was completely full of sorrow. Santvam Uttaram Abravit. He spoke words which would console her. Okay. And the very first thing he says, he gives his Aadhaar card. Aham Ramasya Sandeshat Devi Dutaha Tavagatah. I am the messenger of Lord Ramachandra. I am a Duta. And Vaidehi Kushali Ramaha Tvam Cha Kaushalam Abravit. And what did, so the moment he says, I am messenger of Ramachandra, what is a message he has sent, Rama has sent? So Rama has asked you, how are you? Unnode kushalata vicharchar. Are you happy? And how are you doing? This is what Ramachandra has asked me to convey to you. And of course, he goes on to tell many other things. So I think a little bit of reflection on the Prana Pratishtha. There are so many things happening there. It's one of the most imposing temples. It is supposed to survive another 1,000 years. Many of you are already aware of the kind of architecture that is used. There is completely following old traditions of building temples, completely rock, stone-based temple, different types of rocks and stones. Some of these stones are millions of years old. And the beautiful murti that is going to be consecrated. Unfortunately, the real murti is already available online. Normally, the Garbhagriha murti is not revealed, isn't it? But the only saving grace is it is before consecration, so it's okay. Okay. Post consecration, you are not supposed to reveal it. So we can justify it that way, but it helps some of us who are away to look at the divinity in that form. The only thing we can pray is, of course, the Prana Pratishtha is going to happen with all Agama Shastras, isn't it? And the Murti has Dashavataram around it. The only thing is we will all be wondering, where is Sita, where is Lakshmana? Right? Hanuman is there. Hanuman finds his place. Hanuman and Garuda are at the bottom, isn't it? So where are the others? They are there. around in one of the Dashavatharams. Balarama is there, right? Adishesha is there. Therefore, Lakshmana is there, you can think. But Sita Mata is always there in the heart of Lord Ramachandra. But the interesting thing is, of course, we can always say she could also have been there alongside him, isn't it, as a Murti? But this place is where Rama is supposed to have been born. Therefore, and the Bhakti Sampradayam of North India is really to be appreciated. They like Balakrishna, therefore Balarama. And Ram Lalla, as they say, the moment you see this Murti, you will obviously get pure love, nothing but love. And you will forget about Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. You will just see Rama and enjoy him. If that is what you want, then you better see a form that befits that description. So we are all eagerly looking forward to the Prana Pratishtha with all the Agama Shastras that are followed. Our only thing is we are all remote. The only thing we can do is to welcome the Lord of the universe to reside not only in Ayodhya but also in our hearts. So just give room for any one person to ask any reflection or question based on this or anything else before we conclude. All right. So I think we'll
one reflection. This whole conversation just now, what we are today, is a great life lesson, in my opinion. When you are establishing yourself to be a stranger, Sita Mata might have talked about herself, that I am so and so, I am pious, I am doing this, I am doing that, but she's not done that. She has taken the lineage from Dasharatha, how Dharmatma he is, then came to Rama, how he basically obliged the obligations, and then said that I am his wife. So it is basically, instead of tom-tomming herself, she is basically establishing the fact that what great lineage, even if she is having a doubt about who is Hanuman, about his background, because she is in that environment, obviously she may have such doubt in her mind, but she trying to communicate a message that, look, I came from this dharmic lineage, so be dharmic. She's trying to communicate in that way. So this is a great lesson, right? Even when we communicate with strangers, rather than talk about ourselves, we should talk about our lineage and our principles, and how we imbibe that. That's what I thought.
Correct. And in fact, in the subsequent chapters, we'll see it will go into some details. And she reveals just enough information to the point that Hanuman asks, are you that Sita? She says that yes. And she gives a little correlation to the facts that Hanuman tells in the previous Sargam. That is something she reflects. So excellent messages on communication. And that's something we can take a leap out of. Okay. So let us all pray to Lord Ramachandra. And of course, with lot of fervor going on around the consecration is just the beginning of the sadhana path to Lord Ramachandra. So we should not forget that, when all the things fade away within a couple of weeks, we should not forget Lord Ram. That is something we should all keep in our minds. So with that, we'll conclude our session today.
Guru Charanambuja Nirbhara Bhakta Guru Charanambuja Nirbhara Bhakta Samsara Dachira Nambuja Krishna Krishna Sendriya Manasa Niyamadevam Rakshasi Nija Hridayastam Devam Bhaja Govindam Bhaja Govindam Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate
कायेन वाचा मनसा इन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्या आत्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै श्रीमन्नारायणायेति समर्पयामि. सर्वं श्रीरामचन्द्रार्पणमस्तु. Have a great day and a week ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you.